His Excellency, Mr. Karl-Heinz Buurman, President of the City Parliament, Professor Dr. Felix Semerath, Deputy Mayor, respected Professor Rajmohan Gandhi, Professor Detmer Rothermund, Professor Bipin Chandji, ladies and gentlemen, present on this historic occasion. Purely on a personal note, I would like to tell you it is exactly 60 years ago that as a young boy of 7 in the city of Allahabad, I set eyes on Gandhiji. He had come there to lay the foundation of a hospital in memory of Srimati Kamla Nehru, the wife of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. It is a scene which is etched upon my memory. Very kind and very beautiful words were mentioned by the President about Gandhiji. Down the years, men of great wisdom, great standing, have mentioned the name of Gandhiji, not only in glowing terms, but also with deep reverence. Gandhiji is not to be studied and seen as a static person, but as an ever-changing and growing personality, as he himself said, quote, "In my search after truth, I have discarded many ideas and learned many new things, and therefore, when anybody finds any inconsistency between any two writings of mine, if he has still faith in my sanity, he would do well to choose later of the two on the same subject." End quote. Gandhi was the main leader of India's anti-colonial struggle, but he primarily came to lead the struggle because he saw colonialism as the symbol of domination and oppression of the weak and downtrodden. Gandhi saw himself rightly and primarily as a champion of the downtrodden. He was clear in his mind that there were other problems to which he wanted to devote attention in his own lifetime and which he hoped to attend to after gaining independence for the country. For example, he devoted a large part of his efforts in addressing the issues related to the discrimination against the downtrodden. Gandhi began his political career as the champion of the suppressed and the discriminated Indian community in South Africa. There itself, he experimented with technique of non-violence and satyagraha as a mode of powerful resistance. Similarly, after coming to India, he first took up the cause of the peasants of Bihar in eastern India against the exploitation and suppression of the indigo planters. The second struggle was the championing of the cause of the peasants of Gujarat in western India against excessive colonial taxation. The third was the cause of the Ahmedabad textile workers. It is only when he saw all these struggles as emanating from the dominant logic of colonialism that he took to fighting its source. But even while devoting his major energy and struggle against colonial rule, he kept devoting a large part of his time and efforts to the fight against domination of lower castes by upper castes, that is, for the liberation of the downtrodden. This he carried out throughout his life between 1920 and 1948. But there were two periods, one in 1927-28 and another in 1933-34, when he specifically gave up all politics and toured the entire length and breadth of the country for fight against untouchability. Gandhi also devoted a great deal of effort to raise the status of women in society, freeing them from the male domination, or as we would say, for women's liberation. It is interesting to note that his primary objective for raising a battle for the uplift of the women and the lower castes was that of arousing the people against those evils and in the process integrating the whole of country men in the process of national awakening. Gandhi did not believe that through legislation these evils could be obliterated, although he did not oppose the legislative process either. He believed that social change ultimately emanated from change in thinking and behavior, and that in this regard legislation would only play a secondary role. One of the major misunderstandings regarding Gandhi's life and thought is the belief that he opposed the use of machinery for productive and social purposes. He contradicted this view several times and pointed out that he opposed only the use of machinery for displacing human labor, but favored it when it lightened the burden on human beings. In other words, he was for the economic development that simultaneously generated full employment. One of Gandhiji's ever-present passions was for civil liberties. He repeatedly said that civil liberties are like the water of life, and I have never heard of water being diluted. We may not forget that two of his 4 mass movements in India were on the question of right to speech and freedom of the press. Actually speaking, Gandhiji's passion for democratic values had something to do with his belief in achieving right ends with them, right means. He injected this idea in the minds of the countrymen at large very, very effectively. The fact that India could be a successful democracy after independence whereas many other African and Asian countries that got independence around the same time fell prey